Hey, welcome to Bears Banter. I don't know why I hear echo. My name is Bernard Mohammed. Hey, do y'all hear echo? I hear echo on my side.
Yeah, I still hear the echo. Yeah, I don't know
Definitely
what
hear
it
echo.
is.
Let me see if I.
Okay, now you muted. We can't hear you at
you
all.
completely muted. Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
There we go.
look like we cured. Hey, that's funny how you won't have these problems when you're doing like the pre-prep, and then as soon as you go live, you have these strange things happen. But tonight on the podcast is Jay Beasley, Guy Moore, and hopefully be joining us tonight will be Keith Floyd, also known as Play, and Mike Quick Alden. Hey man, what's up with y'all tonight, man?
All is gravy, baby.
All is good. All is good. I can't complain. I cannot complain. All is good.
Yeah, y'all. I know some of y'all probably like, man, how's he doing this podcast tonight? But tonight this podcast is gonna be therapeutic for me to go through it. So hey, we know there's a whole lot of talk, man. Man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Do y'all want to start out with what's going on with Justin Fields, the trade?
I mean, you can flip a coin, man, because it's a gang of stuff.
Do we want to talk about the Scout Combine, the draft?
You the moderator. You set it off,
what
brother.
We talking about? What we talking about?
We with you, man. We with you, baby.
So, okay, let's start here. This video, see if I could bring this up. There's been a lot of talk about look like Justin Fields is gone, and I guess maybe we could start there. Then we could parlay into talking about Caleb Williams. We don't know what the Bears going to do. I mean, we all have maybe speculation. Only thing I could say is I did notice the tone has changed, where polls have been saying you really have to blow us. A quarterback have to blow us away in order for us to move on from Justin Fields. I noticed in the last few weeks, I've noticed that language has changed from him. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that means anything. What do y'all gather from what y'all hearing?
Well, from what I'm hearing, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. I hate it because I feel like if we could build around Justin, great things could happen. But Foles is in a position where no team has ever been in this position before. If the Bears didn't have the first overall pick, this wouldn't even be a conversation. But because they have this first round pick, he's a GM with a quarterback on his team that he did not draft. And it's like, okay, it'll buy me a few years as a GM if I draft a quarterback to lead this team. And that's where it's going. But if the Bears had like the third or fourth, maybe fifth pick in the first round, this wouldn't even be a conversation. That's why, I hate that, the media continues to talk about, well, they passed on Patrick Mahomes. Well, they passed on CJ Stroud. And to me, that's just not a good narrative because the Bears wasn't in the quarterback market last year when CJ Stroud came out. So they weren't looking for a quarterback. So don't even say they passed on CJ Stroud because they wasn't looking for a quarterback.
Right.
So I just think that because the Bears have the number one pick and Poles is in this position, that they are going to draft a quarterback. I don't like it. I'll support it just because I'm a Bears fan. I'll support it just like when they drafted Trubisky. I'm going to support it. But I think it's not a good choice. That's all I can say.
You got anything comments on that, guy? As far as
I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum because, like I said on the page, I really don't even think Poles really knows what he's doing. I think he's more so posturing. What I've envisioned could possibly happen, just like all of us say, I've been a Bears fan all my life. I wouldn't like to see Justin Fields go, but if he goes, I'm still going to be a Bears fan. I'm going to get our guys. But what I feel is I don't think he is going to get traded. And I actually do believe that if the Bears, by the time they draft, don't get rid of the first pick, I think they're going to pick a quarterback. But what's going to end up happening, somebody else is going to pick a player, whoever it is that they're going to go be in cahoots with. They're going to pick a player for that person. And then we get the draft picks or whatever it is, first round, whatever. And the other scenario that, I'm not going to get into it. I'll let Bernard talk about, because me and Bernard had a thing on the phone. It's like, let's look at it from a logistics standpoint. I mean, if you're building, we're so used to losing and almost being there and being mediocre. I know Poles is trying to do the best thing he can to put a great team and keep a great product out there. But if you look at the free agents that are out there, if you look at the guys in the draft, okay, if I'm a GM, okay, yeah, unless a guy can basically tell me he's like Jesus with a helmet on, he's going to sit. I'm not going to waste. I'm not going to say waste, but I'm not going to take a pick and take a quarterback. Who knows? He could be great. He may not be. But there are a lot of logistics. I do feel that the temperature has changed, though, but I kind of still believe it's kind of posturing, because I think Poles may have something else up his sleeve. But if he goes, I'm still bearing down. What's up?
There goes trouble.
Yo,
Here he comes. Here he comes.
No. ¿Qué pasó, amigos? ¿Cómo estás? Yeah.
Estoy bien. ¿Y tú?
Oh, man. Hey, la chica es muy guapa, huh? Yeah.
Estoy muy malo, man.
Hey,
what's going on, y'all?
Not too much. Hey, let me get quick a second to settle. I'm gonna address the actual question myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say what I would like to see happen and what I think is gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would like to see Justin Fields get another year, even though at times I am critical of some of his play, but I do think he's going to improve, and with pieces around him, I do think he's going to improve. But what I do think is, I believe the Bears are listening to trade offers.
Oh yeah,
and I do believe the Bears are setting up the scenario where if they don't get the trades they like, Justin Fields is going to ask to be traded. And that would be the scapegoat for, I should say scapegoat, but that'll be a way of letting him go in a trade if you don't get the right trade value you want, by saying, well, you know what, we wanted to do right by him, so we just went on and traded him because he actually wanted to be traded. I think that may be another scenario that could be building in the background. What you got, Quick, on that subject?
Man, I'm actually tired of that subject, man. I'm like, man, people are losing their minds. It's like, I just almost refuse to comment on this. I'm trying to figure out who we're gonna get at safety next year, man. Just like, I mean, people have literally lost their minds on this whole Justin Fields and Caleb Williams and everybody else. I mean, if we end up, you got to see what's out there as far as trade value and all that. So you got to see what's out there. Yeah. I mean, you'd be dumb not to just to listen to the offers and see what we could potentially get. And it just shows you, like, if that many people want to trade for this guy, then you may still have something in this guy. Like, what was really weird was that Getsy was just praising this dude. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought him and Getsy didn't get along or whatever.
Right.
But now you got the Raiders. What Getsy is like, Getsy like, hey, man, we can get this dude. And just imagine him with Devontae Adams. Come on, man. That's just not good. But I just think we got to listen to the offers. We got to listen to the trades. We got to listen to trading the picks. We got to listen to all of this. And I'm just a fan of us potentially getting a top 5 pick, because we haven't had one since Mitch, and Mitch really wasn't a top 5 pick. We got some guys in this draft that are actually top 5 guys, and I'm just a little bit tired of us waiting on everybody else to set the draft for us to pick who's next and who's available, when we can almost pick who we want to pick. Not necessarily at 1, we could do it at 2 or wherever, but we still can get a valuable player and a top 5 market player. So,
okay,
that's what I have.
Hey, if y'all tuning in, please try to comment on this, man. We'll shout you out. I'm looking at something real quick. Christopher Bleed Beast, he said, do y'all think that Williams has the ability to lead this team. I don't see it at all in maybe 2 or 3 years. I seriously don't see an immediate change. And he also said he deserves another year. He seriously has not had the opportunity to be the quarterback the Bears need. The organization finally started putting the pieces together. Let's get an O-line that can pass block. That's a good call. And something else I looked at too, I was looking at all the fumbles of quarterbacks. And yeah, Justin Fields needs to learn how to hold on to the ball. But I saw some eye-popping stats with some of some top quarterbacks, and I'm like, wow. So have at it, guys.
Yeah. Hey, let me see. Since you brought up Caleb, Chris Beasley, I'm trying to bring up. Let me see if I could bring up. What we got here?
Good question, baby.
I brought in my same screen.
That's a great question.
Let me stop sharing.
I haven't seen too many quarterbacks in the last 20 years that basically came in and were eye-popping. I mean, now Brady was an anomaly because Brady was picked as 199th quarterback, but he had the skills, but he reminds me of like what Greg Maddux was as a pitcher. You look at him like, man, this dude ain't no quarterback. He got body fat. He looked like a couch potato. But the way he got played in Michigan, they didn't do nothing, but they created. Michigan actually should have thanks for Brady being. He should thank Michigan for doing that because they played him at Michigan. They played him to the left, and when he came to the league, man, he had a 20-year fire on his chest, and it's something that we haven't seen. But it's not that many. What Marino, Elway, a lot of guys sat, but it's not that many in the last 20 years that actually just came from college and was just like that. So,
and see,
and let me tell you this. Speaking of,
that's my biggest thing. I'm sorry, real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
My biggest thing to answer my brother's question. It's one of those things where it's like, you're right. Does he have the ability to lead the team? And Justin Fields, as everybody knows, has been like that dude in the locker room. My biggest fear is that I don't want to start over. I don't want to start over because we're in this process where with pieces together, with 7 wins last year, with pieces together, we can actually build some momentum a la Detroit Lions, build some momentum to make a run for the playoffs. And I just think looking at the tape and looking at Justin Fields and Caleb Williams, they are the same dude. They are the same dude.
They
if you look
are.
At the fumbles, if you look at the fumbles are the same.
Yeah.
They're the same dude. So you know what you have in Justin Fields.
Yep.
Add a few pieces around him, and he can be better. But bringing a rookie into the league, and like I said, it's just so twofold because, when was the last time a 7-10 team had the first pick in the draft?
Normally, I can't remember.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? Normally, the first pick in the draft goes to a team that was 2-16 or 2-15, 3-14. So it's just one of the things where it's just like, Foles, you in this position, and you have to solidify, not pleasing the fan base, but you have to solidify yourself as a GM and make the pick that you feel is going to. No, Chris, I don't subscribe to that. You have to make the pick that you feel is going to solidify not only the franchise, but your job as a GM in the NFL.
Your brother dropping dimes.
Bring this up. Hold on, put this on the side here. And I'm going to play this. Just to let me know when y'all want me to stop on this video.
No, go ahead, bro.
Hold on. I think it's muted.
Me and my team, my family. And it comes down to that. Yeah. I'd say the player in person that they be getting, a person that cares for his teammates. Some of y'all may have seen, some of y'all may have not. I try to take care of all my guys, no matter if you've been fourth on the depth chart or you're the star player. So I care for my teammates, and then the other part is I'm a fierce competitor, as you may have seen after some games. I mean, the Bears was an 8-9 team last year, I believe, and 7-10. Sorry, and that's pretty good for a team that has the first pick. And they got a good defense. They got good players on offense, and it's pretty exciting. If you could go into a situation like that. Yep. Whole lot of dominant quarterback play? No, not at all. I don't compare myself to the other guys, that's there or been there. I think I'm my own player, and I tend to like to, create history and rewrite history.
This dude just sounds soft.
You can stop it right there, Bernard. You can stop it right there, Bernard.
It sound like he about to drop a ballad on us real quick with some piano keyboards. But you know what? Hey guys, but you guys, I've always said you guys have had much more football knowledge and intel than I do. But I want to pose something to you that I put on the page. They were talking about Caleb Williams, and I basically agree with you, Jay. Him and Justin are basically the same. But I also went to the point of I was looking at the offenses of Ohio State when Justin Fields was there, as far as the passing offense as well as USC's, and it just seemed kind of vanilla as far as like with Caleb cutting the field in half, running bubble screens, running that stuff. With a guy like Penix, although he's hurt, had injuries. It seemed like to me that if we just push the injuries aside, Penix in my mind is probably one of, if not the most NFL-ready quarterback as far as the offenses that they allowed him to run. I was looking at Caleb, and it's like I actually went back and looked at plays, and I'm like, okay, I'm not taking anything away from him because he's a heck of a talented dude, but a lot of plays, he had a lot of real big plays for a lot of yards. And I'm looking at like guys like running like a little skinny post here, a little out. It's like cutting the field in half. I didn't see a whole lot of, I'm not saying variety, but it just seemed their offenses, it seemed like the way that they were treating him was just like with Justin Fields. And I think they had their teams. Well, I'm not saying USC was a great team, but with Ohio State, they were able to get a whole lot out of that without having to do as much because of the guys that they had. Whereas with Penix didn't have as much, but Dunze. But I looked at them and I look at Caleb, and it's no disrespect, but it just seems like he's just Justin Fields, but just a little bit slower and about 2 inches shorter.
Yeah. You know what, listening to Mike, I thought that was funny what you said. He's going to have to toughen up for Chicago if the Chicago go that way. I understand he's a college student and young guy. So the media, when you come to Chicago market, New York market, and LA market,
and the cold weather.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying those markets, you're not going to walk out in a press conference and there's 3 stations or 5 stations. You're going to walk out there and there's probably 50 stations out there, right? You got podcasts out there. You got all this. You got those networks. So they're going to come at you. So it's a few things he probably going to have to, get some media training on to kind of help him improve on that. But with that said, man, you know what? I don't know. I mean, I do see some of the same similarities as watching Justin Fields. And one of the things I don't like is the backyard football from either one of them, to be honest. Too much ad-libbing and too much dropping the ball to their side and holding the ball enormous long time. So I'm just same thing I'm going to say about one I'm saying about both. Mm-hmm. Now, the positive I will say is Caleb does seem to, from watching him, he seemed to kind of process the information a little bit faster at times. And he seemed to have a little bit more field awareness, where at times with Fields, I would criticize him, where it seemed like he'll be oblivious of what was going on around him at times. But both of them have a tendency to not know when the play is over. The play is over, just go down or throw it away. I mean, they don't need you. I mean, every so often you could do it, but most time it's nothing gonna come out of holding the ball 4 or 5 seconds, running in circles in the background. I mean, the backyard. I mean, back in the backfield. It's not a lot of times. More chances of a negative play is gonna happen because it's a chance you're gonna get hit, you're gonna fumble. They're gonna get called for holding because they don't know where you're at. So it's important. There's nothing wrong with being a dual threat quarterback, which is great. But you know what? The ability to be able to run is starting to be normal. Most of these quarterbacks coming in this draft can run the ball.
That's the standard of the NFL in 2024. It's the standard that you got to be able to throw from the pocket and you got to be able to use your legs to make plays. So that's a standard in the NFL right now. But looking at and because I'm processing the fact that I feel that the Bears are going to draft Caleb Williams, I'm looking at a lot more tape of Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And the things that I see the good and I see the bad. But at the same time, I still see the negative plays versus the positive plays.
Right.
And with the same thing you can get with Justin Fields with a little bit more around him. I want people to understand. I want people that watch Bears Banter Talk Show to understand. I'm not this Justin Fields, like we got to keep Justin Fields because of this. I'm just saying the position that we're in and the assets that we can actually gain to make this team better is more important to me than starting the quarterback clock over again. All that to me that is so irrelevant, because in the next 2 years, if you keep Justin Fields, he's going to cost you $30 million. $30 million for a starting quarterback. $6 million this year. I think he'll be 28th ranked, if I'm not mistaken. 28th ranked is the starting quarterbacks for next year on his fourth year contract, and then you exercise the 5th year option. It's going to be 25.6, I believe it is. So you talking about $30 million for a starting quarterback in 2 years. To me, that ain't about starting the rookie scale over. If you draft Caleb Williams, he's going to make $9.5 million in his first year.
Yep.
Per the rookie scale.
Yep.
That's $3 million more than Justin would make on his 4th year. So I look at all the options. And I just feel that this team is on the cusp of being pretty good based on what they showed last year. Coming into the next season, 4th place schedule. I believe it's 4th place schedule. It can happen. It can happen, but I understand the position that Poles is in, and I want people to understand that. I understand the position that he's in.
What you got, quick on Caleb Williams or Fields, and then we gonna
Caleb Williams sucks. Anyway,
so Pac-10, go Pac-10.
That's always been your stance, Quick.
I mean, how many pros in the Pac-10? I mean, let's just go there.
I agree.
I just want to say that when we talked about, and I posed a question yesterday in the group, if the Bears had the number 3 pick, would they be trying to move up to get Caleb Williams at number 1?
Nope.
I don't think they would. I just really don't.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say the actual sleeper of the quarterbacks is JJ McCarthy.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
The reason why I say that is because I've known JJ since he was a freshman playing at NAS. I've seen this kid play for a very long time. Went from NAS to IMG to Michigan. Michigan couldn't beat Ohio State till JJ got there. Let's just keep it real. They couldn't beat him.
Yep.
They could not beat Ohio State till JJ McCarthy walked in the door. JJ McCarthy is a winner. He's a proven winner. He's not only a winner, he's a great kid. Great kid.
Mhm.
Like man.
Yep.
If I had a white daughter, man, I let him. But anyway, you know, no, but anyway, I mean, he's a dude, man. I mean, he possesses a lot of traits, and somebody's going. I mean, God forbid he sneak up in some place like the Patriots or somewhere like that. That's going to
He
try to
has that
piece
Jim
together a
Harbaugh. He
team.
has that Jim Harbaugh trait. When Jim
Yeah, and
Harbaugh
Harbaugh,
came out of Michigan,
yeah,
that's the trait that JJ McCarthy has. That gritty, fiery quarterback that
and he's
don't
been
possess
coached.
all the skills. He don't possess
Yeah,
all the skills that everybody talk about, but he's gritty and
And he's a
fiery.
Midwest kid. And he's a
he's a
Midwest
winner.
kid.
You know
Everywhere
what?
he's gone,
If
he's won. Everywhere he's
I'm
gone,
gonna
he's
do
won.
if the Steelers, I'm just mentioning the Steelers and Fields just because it's been 3 teams talked about. If the Steelers don't trade for Fields, I think JJ McCarthy will be a good pick for the Steelers. I mean, because he has that fiery. Michigan. He showed that he just wants to win. Because if you look at that championship game, I mean, they barely even threw the ball. They had games where they barely threw the ball, but it wasn't because he couldn't throw. It was just the
Couldn't
team
throw.
couldn't
I've
stop the
seen this
run.
dude. He could sling that. I've seen him
Yeah,
sling it.
yeah.
I mean, I've been on games with him, and I was just like, what in the this? Are we talking about back in high school? I mean, we talking about the guy rolling out all the way to the right. They chasing him, and he just stopped and throw it all the way back to the left pylon on a dime. And I'm just like, and the kids out there like, what the mother? Son of a-" I'm like, dude, you just can't stop that, bro. I mean, he got something that they don't. And the kid is phenomenal. I would love to see this dude go to somewhere. If Atlanta don't trade for him, I'd love to see this dude go to Atlanta. There's gonna be some consequences and repercussions if this dude lands up in Atlanta. It's
But
gonna be
before we
bad.
get off the subject, I just want to ask this question to the panel. I feel like where is Justin? If the Bears are going to trade Justin Fields, where is he going to go?
Atlanta.
Because the bottom line, but what I'm saying is, what is the compensation for him? And I think I put this in the group a couple of days ago. Like, people say Atlanta, people say Pittsburgh, and what was the other? It was another team that people talked about. But if they're not willing to give up the draft capital, do you just trade Justin Fields for a bologna sandwich?
I thought he was
Right.
gonna
That's
trade
a
him for
good
2
question.
nickel
That's why I made
bags.
that comment, Jay, about is that dude that doing right for Justin Fields? Is that a statement being out there in case you don't get the draft capital and then maybe used as well? We went on and traded him just to do right by him, right?
Right. And it's like
What
like,
is the
okay,
draft capital for him? Because if you're saying he's not the guy, you're basically telling everybody he's not worth a
that
number
he's
one
not the
pick.
guy.
So
Right.
you're telling everybody he's not your guy, but then somebody else is like, well, if he's not your guy, I'm not giving you a number one pick for this
He ain't my guy either. He's not my guy.
Right. Like,
If he's not your
I'll
guy,
take
he's
him off
not my
your
guy.
hands. Yeah, I'll take him off your hands, but I'm not
For
going
a
to give
6th
you
round
no
draft
number
pick.
one pick.
I'll take him off your hands for a 6th round draft pick.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
really?
I don't remember the
crazy,
draft
guys.
compensation, but you remember when Drew Brees went out there was very little interest from him from the Chargers.
Mhm.
You know, I think when New Orleans finally, Alex, I don't remember the draft compensation, but they were like, after he had been out there for a while, when they finally said, okay, I want to say trade for him, but like I said, it was something, right? It was low interest in Drew Brees.
But there was a reason why. And the reason being, like we talked about this yesterday, Drew Brees was about to get another contract with the Chargers. They had Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers was getting into it. AJ, what's his name? And Marty Schottenheimer, they kept getting into it because they put Phillip Rivers third on the depth chart. Drew Brees was the guy. They went 9-6. They had one game left. They were out the playoffs. So Marty Schottenheimer went ahead and started Drew Brees, and Drew Brees got injured. And the reason why it wasn't that much talk is because they were worried about whether he could throw anymore. So once they cleared him medically and did all that stuff, that's when New Orleans stepped in. But had he not gotten hurt and Schottenheimer kept him out, Schottenheimer was probably going to go and give him the boot anyway. And they probably would have traded Phillip Rivers. But the injury was the reason why there wasn't as much look-see, because especially a quarterback, you thinking he hurt his shoulder, and I think it was his left shoulder, though, wasn't it? It wasn't his throwing shoulder.
No, it was his throwing shoulder.
It was his throwing shoulder, but he neither hit there. When there's a deal, especially with a quarterback, it wasn't like he had a shotgun of an arm and he'd injured his shoulder. That's a red flag to guys. A lot of guys didn't want to take the risk, but once he cleared medically and they saw that he was structurally okay, he goes to New Orleans, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of the rare examples too that you could say a quarterback actually went somewhere else and actually played better than the place they was at. You've had quarterbacks go places that have had a good season or some good games, but never really put it together. And one of the hard parts is most part, don't believe in you as much as the team that draft you.
Right.
And so a lot of times when guys do go to market like that, unless, not those guys who had great careers like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I'm not talking about those guys. I'm talking about the guys who really didn't play well. Or they kind of like, yeah. So those guys, a lot of times they get on teams, and those teams treat them like we're just waiting for you to mess up to put the next guy in.
I got a synopsis on that, man. You know what? And what I've been listening to, not just the fans, but different things I've been seeing on TV. Justin Fields reminds me of that guy in a relationship with his girl. They kind of not getting along, but she's super fine, and they get into it. And everywhere he go, everybody looking at how fine she is. Man, if that was my girl, I'd be like, man, such and such. And now he sit back at the crib like, man, I could give me and her breakup. She gon', man, so I'm looking online and I'm looking at different places in Atlanta. Like, come on, give him to us. The Steelers, give him to us. It's different teams that are begging for this guy. And what I'm saying is, yeah, he's got some things he needs to correct, but I feel like with what we're putting in place right now, you take a guy like that who's been here for 3 years or whatever, he's been able to show us the type of arsenal he has, and he showed his inefficiencies. But you look at it from a logistics standpoint, it's like, man, well, if we shore this offensive line up a little more and we do a palpable running scheme, a pass scheme, and give him something to work with and accentuate his assets, could he make that leap? But like you said, for $9 million, bringing a young guy in, you keep him for $5 million, and next year, if you if you franchise, next year he's got it's a 5th-year thing, right? Where they have to pay him like $15 million.
No, it's a 5th-year option.
For
it's
how
a
much?
5th-year option that'll be, I want to say, somewhere in the range of 25, close to $26 million. But my thing is, you still getting a starting quarterback for the next 2 years for $30 million.
And he's in the system that he's already in.
So if you want to split hairs, we're talking about $15 million a year for a starting quarterback. So that's still bottom half of the NFL as far as the pay scale.
Did Mike Glennon have a guaranteed contract with us? Because we gave him like $10 million. And we
well, it was more like
18
million. It was more like 18.
Yeah, you know what? I did want to say this, and let's move over to the other part. Man, I had the statement printed out, but I can't find it. So I'm going to kind of just paraphrase it. And this is why I'm kind of like saying we almost got to talk like we got to believe Fields is gone because of stuff that's being said. The first day of the Combine in a press conference with Flus, he said, he mentioned what he was looking for in a quarterback. One of the things he said was a quarterback who's good on third down, who's good late in games. To me, those are just direct like stabs at Fields because Fields had about 18 to 19 turnovers in the fourth quarter. Those are crunch times. Crunch time makes it different because most games are probably one-score games unless there's a lot of turnovers. The average game is probably you probably win by 6 points, win by 3, unless there's a lot of turnovers that make a big gap in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a little dig at Fields by saying that. Then he threw some other stuff in, like great leadership and stuff like that. So I'm not. To me, those two things were kind of like, to me,
I don't really believe that to be true though, because and by them getting rid of everybody on the offensive staff, that was just saying that it was their fault. You know, so you can't get rid of the offensive staff and get rid of the quarterback, because then I mean, who's the blame on, right?
Right.
Then here's the other thing too. Fluke's job is not guaranteed. I don't want to bring in no new dude. And I mean, I know a couple of these games we should have won 3 extra games and been 10-7. So those are games that Fields had contributed to. But you look at this. If my job on the line, I'm not depending on no new dude to keep me through the next year. I know I can win some ball games with the guy that's here, and I could potentially, if we coach him up, because everything that he named, the dude, remember when I posted, who is Andrew Jennis, whatever this dude's last name was, the quarterback coach. The guys that was coaching Fields never even played to the level that Fields did. So how you gonna coach me to do something that you've never done? Getsy played for on the bench, and the other dude, Jenna Sacco, whatever his name was, he was the field goal holder.
Johnny Sacco.
Scholarship.
Johnny Sacco.
He could not even win a scholarship, so he couldn't coach himself on how to be a quarterback.
Right.
He was
I don't believe his job is on the line. I think that's something that the fans that don't like the move is kind of saying, because I mean, here's the cruel part of it. The Bears played 17 games. Justin Fields played 13. He only won 5 out of 13 games. Now, I know the wins and losses are not always on him, but the bar for a coach, if you change players, is can your next starting quarterback at least win 5 games? If he could win 5 games and throw for 3,000 yards, he has outperformed statistically the quarterback he's replacing, because Justin Fields threw for under 3,000. I know we can add the rushing yards, but you got to look at all. But I'm just saying, that's why I'm not sure if his job is on the line, unless he falls below those numbers, right? If he falls below those numbers, his job may be on the line. But I think the plan that they put together is, how can we improve this team? And I think this is the plan that Poles and him agree on. But we really don't know, because they haven't did anything. We just speculating. He might bring back Fields. I mean, we have no idea.
Poles is not Poles' guy, though. Remember that too, because he hired him, but the crackhead Jim Irsay was the guy who interviewed him.
Yeah.
All right. So that was not Poles' guy.
Hey, 2 things. One,
I mean, he is, but I'm saying that's why he's expendable, because he wasn't my guy in the first place. When I got here, they was like, "Hey, you gonna name this dude the head coach?" Oh, okay, all right, cool. And then we're gonna give him this.
Yeah.
But you got to think about, going back to your point. You got to think about how many games the defense lost for the Bears. Justin, the year before they had 30 points and lost the game. This year, in some of those games, they were in position to win the game, and the defense lost those games. So you still got to take that in consideration too when you're doing the evaluation of the film. Even though the Bears got the L, we were in position to win those games. The first time Montez Sweat was here, he's sitting on the bench when we supposed to be beating the Lions. He's sitting on the bench next to the coach, and Poles is like, "Hey, bro, listen, I don't know what your substitution or rotation is, but this guy that's making $100 million has to be on the field."
Yeah, you know what? Those are good points. But the opposite argument of that is all 3 of those games ended with turnovers with Justin Fields' hand in it. Not saying it's his fault, but I'm just saying, when they don't want a player, they may not see that as the defensive fault. They may see it as he also. That's why I brought up the fourth quarter thing. That I'm not sure why they brought that up, but they brought it up. The head coach mentioned fourth quarter. He said, "How does the quarterback perform late in games?" So he said that. So I'm not sure why he said that.
But to me, if I got a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter as a quarterback, I'm supposed to feel comfortable because I know my defense is going to close out this game. So now my defense doesn't close out the game. So now the pressure is on me to win this game with not the best talent in the NFL on my offense.
Right.
Hey,
I don't get it.
Jay, he's a defensive coach. He's not gonna blame himself.
So he's So he's not gonna blame himself because they gave up a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. So now I need my quarterback to come through. My quarterback came through because he put points on the board. My quarterback came through.
Right. So let's take example. Let's take the Detroit game. I mean, I know the season over. We need to move it, but Detroit game is an example of they gave up a lead that looked like it, but they could actually point to the quarterback turned the ball over twice in the last 7 minutes of the game that led to touchdowns.
I'm glad you said that, Nutty. You're supposed to run the ball. You're supposed to run the football when you have.
That's why they fired the offensive coordinator. That's why they
exactly. So when you don't run the football,
which is another thing.
You're supposed to run the ball when you have a double-digit lead. Run the ball and shoot any bitch that wants to throw that damn ball.
Yeah,
that's what you're supposed to do. So that's why you lose. The clock not running.
I got a few real quick things.
I'm sorry.
I want to know who's the Facebook user. Want to welcome Rex Gray in here for Decatur. What's up, bro?
What's up?
Facebook user said picking up the OC from Seattle may have sealed Justin's fate. And of course, your brother Chris was like, don't forget the OC. The OC needs to customize a playbook. What I will say, and I will point to one game in Denver. He fumbles the ball. Okay, he fumbles the ball. They go up again, whatever, boom, boom, boom. Bad play on who's my guy, offensive lineman, rookie. I'm having a brain fart right now. Darnell Wright gets a call. So Herbert does a first down run and it brings it back. So we go 4 and out. We turn the ball, go for a 4th down. We miss it. The very next play, Russell Wilson completes a 46-yard pass. And we lose the game. So it's both sides.
No, that's not how the game ended. The game ended because the quarterback.
The game ended with a sack. No. The game ended with the interception.
The interception.
With the interception. No, it didn't end with the interception. Justin had already threw the interception, and then they ran it back for a touchdown. And then at the end of the game, Justin fumbled. And Denver recovered.
Right. The point
but at the same time, at halftime, I bought a beer at Soldier Field for the first time in like 10 years because we was up 21-7. I was like, oh my God, this is great. This is great. We up 21-7. I'm feeling good. Feeling good. And they came out and scored. So now it's 28-7. And what happened? The defense collapsed, Eberflus. The defense collapsed, and we wind up losing that game. But let's move forward. We got the 2024 draft order.
I'll say this. First of all, what's up, Larry?
Hey, what's up, Larry? Larry Patterson, what's going on?
Swoop.
So, hey, we can kind of
feel uncomfortable now. Too much swoop in here.
Let's go with the draft order. Let's go with the draft order.
Go through the draft order, then I got a list of players that we could kind of go through this. So right now we got the Bears drafting at number 1. I mean, we got speculation what's going to happen. We have no idea though. We have Washington at number 2, New England at 3, Arizona at 4, Cardinals. I'm sorry, the Chargers, the Giants, Tennessee, Atlanta, the Bears.
Not again.
Okay, so hey, now looking at this, who do y'all think won the quarterback? Let's skip the Bears. Who y'all think? I would say Washington quarterback.
Washington, yeah.
Washington and New England. Not Washington and New England. But I just want, but for real, I just want to go off script. And I know, I know. I'm sorry, y'all. I just want to go off script. The Los Angeles Chargers are picking at number 5. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's the
Who's their quarterback? Who is that? No. Who is that quarterback?
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
Guess what? Everybody say Justin Herbert has passed for 4,000 yards every year. Every year. Justin Herbert passes for 4,000 yards. But what are they picking it? Number 5.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert is overrated. He's
They've
overrated.
had some coaching
I'm
issues
not
too.
going
in
to
They're on their
say,
third coach. They're on their third coach. Is always the coach fault.
but
Yeah.
But people talk about, and when I say people, I'm talking about these radio analysts who have these shows and talk about, I want a quarterback like Justin Herbert. He passes for 4,000 yards every year. They're picking at number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give me a quarterback that's going to throw for 4,000 yards every year, and I'm not in the playoffs. I'm not smelling the division. I'm not smelling the conference win. I'm not smelling the division.
They were there last year.
So
Both lost the
overrated.
game for them. Remember?
But guess
Bosa
what?
had 3 penalties last year. Lost the game for them.
They was in the playoffs last year and they lost.
Yeah,
But
Bosa.
Justin Herbert,
Yeah, but I was sitting there watching Bosa do the dummy.
Justin Herbert passes for 4,000 yards a game. It's a passing league. He throws for 4,000 yards a game. But what is it?
That's why I argue with people that winning and losing is a quarterback stat. I mean, much as we don't like to assign it to them, his 4,000 yards would mean something if they was winning. But since they're losing, the 4,000
means absolutely nothing.
It means nada.
Absolutely nothing.
Right.
But here's the thing. I'll be the but guy. That's a tough conference, man.
Yep.
That is a tough conference. The NFC West and the AFC West are the 2 toughest.
I'm sorry, Dennis. I'm so sorry.
You killed Jay.
You said
Jay
what?
was talking about baby, please, baby, please, baby.
I'm like, you killed Jay, you bastards.
But those 2 conferences are actually, I mean, you got the Chiefs over there who you know is almost gonna win it every year. So then you got to play the Raiders, who's like a team. When they got Pierce last year, they was like barely losing games. Then you got even Denver was in there, and Denver is down right now, but they might be on the upswing coming up in the near future. So that's a tough conference, man. That's it's equivalent to the NFC West with the 49ers, the Seahawks, and
the Raiders,
Rams, and all those guys. Those are like 500 games. You're gonna win one, you're gonna lose one. You're gonna win one, you're gonna lose one. You're gonna win one, you're gonna lose one.
But I guess my biggest thing is
I would say in the AFC, I would say the toughest division would hold on, they're in the NFC, right? I'm sorry.
Who? The Chargers in the AFC.
The Chargers in the AFC.
You know what? I would say it's the
West.
North. I would say it's the AFC North because all those teams are trending upward. You know, you got, I mean, literally everybody in the division made the playoff other than the Bengals, and that was because Joe Burrows was hurt. I mean, everybody won at least 10 games.
Yeah, that's this year. But I'm saying on a normal, they because when the Chargers didn't make the playoffs this year, but they were in the playoffs last year, and that's what I was talking about. Joey Bosa with those 3 personal fouls that helped them to lose the game. They supposed to win that game. And dude just couldn't even keep his head. He's slamming his helmet all on the ground everywhere. They're like, thanks, man. Thanks. Another 15. Boom, here we go. Field goal.
Here we go.
Yeah, so here we go. I know there's been a lot of speculation. We indicated maybe 2 teams that may get a quarterback. It may be 2 others because we got Washington, New England. I don't know. The Giants possibly could be in that quarterback. We don't know because we just
they already said it was a report out today saying that they're trying to trade up to get a quarterback.
Okay,
and they actually just paid Daniel Jones $160 million over 4 years, I believe. So this is which is oh my God, this is why I say the Bears are in the prime position to get some assets, and move on. But I digress.
So do we think, when we're looking at this list, see, this is going to be crucial in our discussion on who we think that may be available at 9. Do we think Atlanta's going to get a quarterback? Let's just take the Justin Fields trade off. Let's say that doesn't happen. as far as to Atlanta. Is Atlanta going to get a quarterback at 8, or they just going to?
Not without the trade they want. Not without the trade they want.
Okay.
Not without the trade because I feel that the quarterbacks are gonna go 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
That's my feeling. Without the Bears solidifying a trade and like we're not gonna draft the quarterback, the quarterbacks are gonna go 1, 2, 3.
Okay. So it's possible 4 quarterbacks could go in the first round. Is that what you're saying, Jay?
In the first round, in the first
top 10?
15. No 15. 15. There'll be 4 quarterbacks. And I think that 4th quarterback could be JJ McCarthy somewhere between 6 and 15.
Okay. So when you look at that, if it kind of go the way Jay talking, I mean, y'all can jump in whenever I want. You have the Cardinals, the Chargers. You know what? Tennessee not getting no quarterback because they got Will Levis. And you got the Falcons is the if. So you got basically 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe 4 teams that might not draft for quarterback. Okay, out of those 4, before you get to 9. Before you get to 9. So the players you got available, who do y'all like and that you think? I mean, let's leave. Like I said, we're gonna assume the Bears. I don't know. We can leave them out the conversation because we don't know if they're getting a quarterback or not. But let's assume they're getting Caleb Williams. You still got Marvin Harrison Jr. You got Malik Neighbors. You got Brock Bowles. Let me go through these names. You also have Jaden Daniels. This is not any kind of order. And what's your guy name?
Liatu
Latu from UCLA. And man, this brother, I don't even want to butcher his name. The offensive tackle for Penn State. What's that?
What's that,
Mike? Olamuyiwa, for sure.
For sure. Yeah, we just call him for sure.
For sure. Okay, for sure.
My tongue.
Then we got Rome.
For sure.
Now, when you look at that, man, who y'all think the Bears or what y'all want the Bears to do at 9? I mean, who y'all think gonna be available or what the Bears gonna do?
If we take Caleb, you still got to take a playmaker. You still got to get a playmaker. At some point, you got to get a playmaker. You can get anything you want, but if you don't draft a receiver in this first round, then that's on you. I keep going back and saying this draft reminds me of Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, and Waddle. You got it. And you look at those 3. Those 3 have been hell in the NFL. You got to get one. I'm a fan of Rome Odunze. I'm just telling you, the man is just
my dude.
He could just do so much. I'm a fan of Marvin Harrison, but hey, when in Rome, do as the Romans do.
Exactly.
What did you say, Bernard? You said his radius, his catch radius, is bananas, dude.
Man,
that dude is.
Man, you can't coach that, man. Man.
Yeah, you know what? Because when we assuming if they get Caleb F1, you have to assume Marvin Harrison is gonna probably end up with the Cardinals, so he's not gonna be available. So what you have?
Larry Fitzgerald all over again. Purgatory. Larry Fitzgerald all over again for Marvin Harrison Jr. if he get drafted in Arizona. That's purgatory for him. He'll have a great career on the team that's not going to be anywhere. I mean, Fitzgerald wound up going to a Super Bowl later on in his year, later on in his career. But that's how I'm looking at the Harrison thing right now. Rome Odunze, I still don't think he's going to be available at number 9. In a perfect world, my draft would be for the Bears to trade back and get a wide receiver and an offensive tackle. That would be like the perfect scenario for me. I don't think it's going to happen, but man, Rome Odunze is that dude. He is that dude.
He's that dude. I like the way he able to read the field and he catch these back shoulder throws. And to go what Guy said earlier, I know besides the injury and age, the most ready, and I don't know what his career going to be, is Michael Penix Jr. Because he throws those back shoulder throws constantly. and
Yes,
he
it is.
seemed to know where the receiver is supposed to be and where the gaps are. And like I said, I don't know how that projects to the NFL, but them as a combination would be great
God.
in the NFL. But if he's gone, see, then he'll probably been a jump past what Malik Neighbors, right?
And
Because
he's left-handed.
Guy, can you look up? Guy, can you look up? You know, you the statistician. Can you look up Hendon Hooker? Hendon Hooker, the quarterback from last year from Tennessee. I want to know where is he? I would like to know that. I thought he was in Minnesota. I'm totally off script here, but I thought he was Hendon Hooker. Where is he?
He with the Lions.
He's with Detroit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, he's with Detroit. He's with Detroit. Okay.
Hmm.
But
Not
yeah,
Marvin Harrison Jr. fan, but don't tell his dad.
Malik
Yeah, he has a fumble. You know what? And he got a lot of pressure on him too, man. He got a lot of pressure on him. I mean, he's gonna be good. But let me ask you a question: what happens if Dunze's gone, Marvin Harrison's gone at 9? Of course, Dallas was a turnover. That dude, man, the combines. That dude looked like a circus freak, man. I was looking at his time. He ran a 4.46 40. His split time was like, it was something crazy. And I'm just looking at this dude. I mean, he's a little bit undersized, but that ain't nothing what a couple cheeseburgers couldn't do. But his upside, man, this dude is a beast, man. I'm just looking at these combines at this guy. I'm like, you sure he's a defensive tackle or edge guy? Do you really?
But because
crazy.
But because
so
I
Jay,
think
the Chargers may be the team that trade out.
You think so?
They
it's
might trade out of the
number
top
5.
10.
It's absolutely possible.
They might trade
Yes.
out because they don't need
It's
a
absolutely
quarterback.
possible.
And if the next demand for quarterback comes in, they don't really need a receiver.
It's absolutely possible. Yes,
they
indeed.
would be possibly the team that would trade out of the top 10.
They might get Bowers though.
They might.
They don't have a tight end.
They don't have a tight end. They don't have a tight end. So they might. So they might pick Bowers.
Like, let me see here.
But are you going to take a tight end at number 5? That's the thing. Are you going to take a tight end at number 5?
You got two offensive tackles that's going to go in the top 10.
You got two offensive tackles.
They took offensive tackle last year.
No, I'm just saying you got two offensive tackles. So
but
the amount of people.
Let me ask you this: when Atlanta took
Kyle Pitts,
tight end,
Kyle Pitts,
he got drafted at what 5? 5 or 6 somewhere. So to answer your question, they might. You know what I'm saying? Like they might.
Let's get Kool-Aid McKinstry. He's a marketer. Just wait. Could you imagine you get Kool-Aid in Chicago? What is your favorite Kool-Aid? We'll ask Kool-Aid McKinstry. I mean,
hey man, I had that strawberry lemonade Kool-Aid.
I had that red. But yeah, that's. But there's just so many different things that you can look at, man. I mean, you know, but I don't even know. I don't know how this is gonna go, man. I think everybody and their mother and father, if you're a Bears fan, got time. I think everybody's gonna be glued to that TV just to see how it goes, and within the next after this combine. See them moving and shaking, but I do still feel that if the Bears end up after the combine and going into the draft with the first pick and they pick a quarterback, I just got a feeling that some type of package is going to have. We have a trade.
Well, I think that Justin Fields will be traded by the end of next week.
I don't think so, man.
But yeah.
I don't think so because nobody can give up what we want. They can't give us what we want.
Which is the sad part about it, which is what I said. I was like, I don't think that which is why I say there's no market. I don't feel that there's a market for Justin Fields. And
then this Caleb Williams, it's like this reminds me of RG3, man. What did RG3 do? Like instead of what would Jesus do, what would RG3 do? I mean, he reminds me of RG3.
I hate it, like, but Poles to me, Poles is in a position where he has to do something that's gonna appease himself and the Bears fans. You have this 50-50 split people said keep Justin, and people said move on from Justin. So it's gonna be a thing, and because the Bears have the number one pick, the number one overall pick, he's gonna make that decision to tie himself.
I don't think it's
to
Williams.
tie himself.
Quick.
If he goes against Daniels at 1 and Neighbors at 9, I ain't mad at you.
Hey,
and I wouldn't be mad at him either.
Not mad
but because he has to tie himself with the quarterback to say, okay, Justin wasn't my guy. Now I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to tie myself to him, which is going to give me a few years, not just 2 or 3. Now we're talking about a 4-year rookie contract with a 5th-year option.
I got another angle. I know. Quick would understand this without order. There's chaos.
It's the NFL.
How about the Bears at 1 don't get rid of the pick? They pick Caleb, and Caleb sits for a year or 2.
It's not gonna happen.
You don't think so? Because here's the reason why I personally feel that Justin Fields is not going. Look at this. Flu said all the stuff about the fourth quarter stuff. You had Getsy being real nice and very favorable to him. It's just so many different dynamics going on where it's this type of thing. And guess who's making the most noise? Everybody outside. People going crazy with he's going, he's staying, he's going. Justin Fields the attention on what's going to happen to Justin Fields is probably more prominent than where is Carmen Sandiego. And what's going to happen at the end of it, I feel that all of us going to be like I said, with Johnny Rotten with the Sex Pistols, he got up there, people got mad, he played a song and says, do you guys have the feeling that you've been cheated? And he drops the microphone and leave. I think when it's all said and done, we all, whether we think he's going to leave or stay, when it's all over with, I think we all just going to be stunned like, wow.
Name me a quarterback. That got drafted number 1 overall and didn't start the season.
Bobby Boucher.
And who the hell is that?
What is wrong with you, man? You haven't seen the Water Boy? Well, I know. Bobby Boucher was a defensive guy. He's a defensive guy, but he could do everything.
That's all I'm saying.
You're
not going to draft.
Yeah, Jay, that's why I keep thinking, man. And I'm gonna go back to one of the Facebook.
I hate it.
Said this where they said
I hate it.
that they picked when they got Seattle's OC that sealed Justin fate. And I'm gonna think out the box. And I don't know if this happened. It's just me saying something. The Bears could possibly trade down to 3.
They could.
Yeah.
Get those picks and draft Jalen Daniels.
Yeah.
And the reason they got this OC is Russell Wilson just indicated he would play for the league minimum. They signed Russell as a bridge. So Jalen, because he's not number 1, Jalen doesn't have to start on number 1, but you can actually hire Russell, who may be willing to come because he indicated years ago he's going to be in Chicago. He's willing to play at a minimum.
And Sierra going to be in Chicago.
He may want to end his career on a high note because he had 2 bad years, and he may come in and be the good soldier and say, man, I'll just play until y'all guys ready, and I know Shane Waldron. But anyway, I'm just talking. What you got, Jay?
No, that could actually be a beautiful scenario. Yes,
it could.
Don't think it can happen. But I mean, because now you got me thinking like, okay, you sign Russ for the veteran minimum because he already get $39 million from Denver. No matter what happens,
right.
This dude just set up his family for generations with 39 mil. And he ain't even playing for the team. You sign him for the veteran minimum. Tyler Lockett, Tyler Lockett is a free agent. Bring him in to play the slot. Now you got him, DJ Moore.
Yeah, the same player though. Him and DJ kind of the same player.
No, don't you disrespect DJ Moore like that.
Lockett probably got more stats than this dude in the past couple years. Go look it up when Russ was there. Go look up when Russ was there.
You better not disrespect DJ Moore saying him and Tyler Lockett is the same player. Don't you do that.
probably a little
Don't you
Lockett.
do
Probably,
that.
yeah, he probably a little more explosive than DJ too.
No, don't you do that. But I
Yeah,
digress. I digress from
don't
that. Don't you
digress.
do
Just go
that.
look it up. Google
Don't
me.
you do that. Don't you
Hey,
do
hey,
that.
hey, I wanted to
That's
before we
a
close
good.
out. I wanted to look at this, man. To kind of, we got a year behind us and look back since we talking about draft. Look at the 2023, and you know what? When you look at this, to me, this
Hell of
was
a
a
draft
pretty
class.
good draft.
Hell of a draft class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
Hell of a draft class.
That's why Poe's not going nowhere.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my point exactly. Yes.
They said
Look
somebody,
at
one of the
this
Facebook
right here.
users, check this out. Facebook user said, Jay, it shouldn't come down to did Poles pick Justin. Poles has done phenomenally regardless. His fate is tied to beating Green Bay, making the playoffs, and winning the Super Bowl.
Facebook user.
He's done all that in
Facebook
KC.
user. Facebook user. Guess what? As much as I want to beat Green Bay, that doesn't solidify my season. I want wins. If we lose to Green Bay twice in a 17-game season,
And we win the rest of
and
them.
we win 13 games, and 4 of our losses is to Green Bay, I could care less.
I just want
Do
a
I
team
want
that
Green
every
Bay?
year.
Absolutely. I want to beat Green Bay, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I care about wins.
Yeah.
Again, when people talk about it's a the NFL, it's an air show. I don't care about that. If I win every game 10-6, I don't care. I want to win. I want wins. And that's it.
You know what I want to do? I want to sit up here and have not a year, but consecutive years where we're not worried about getting to the playoffs. We're trying to see how far we can go. You look at other franchises, and at the beginning of the year, they get their little stuff like, yeah, well, you know what? I wonder where we're going to go. Are we going to make it out the NFC East? We're going to do this. We sit up here like, man, if we could just go to the playoffs. I would rather see us go every year. If they get rid of Justin Fields, that's what it takes, then so be it. If Plank if Plank and Quick come out of retirement, because Eddie Jackson gone, I'm quite sure, man. Quick, they won't have you in no doggone robber mode. They'll have you as a straight up. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
They would have you in robber mode
do it.
like your
You
boy
can do it.
Eddie.
You can do it. I believe
you. Can do it all night.
I ain't trying to hit nothing but a donut shop right now, bro. Trying to hit a donut
hit the
shop
subscribe
and
button.
smoothie shop. That's
What's
it.
that? Quick.
I said I'm only trying to hit a donut shop and a smoothie shop. That's it. Shoot, man, it's gonna be dangerous. But I just want to sit back and watch Tyreek Stevenson play. That's all I want to do. That's all I want to do. Sit back and watch him play. We sit back and we talk about Poles' future. Dude, we won 4 more games than we did the year before last year. Let's not forget that. So that doubled the intake. So
absolutely,
and that's what I'm saying. So you gotta evaluate. The other thing we talking about with Justin Fields, we got to keep remembering that him and Kevin Warren have a relationship. We keep talking about Justin's gone and all of this. He was the guy who challenged Kevin Warren to have a season with the Big Ten.
In the Big Ten, yep.
Yeah,
yep.
And they ended up playing because of Justin. He unified and rallied everybody together to get their season going. So you can't forget about stuff like that, man. And I'm just not, like I said, if he go out and get Jalen Daniels and Neighbors, okay, all right, I just got to deal with it. I ain't gonna be happy, but hey, I'll be in. But Caleb Williams, he too close to Boys Town playing down there at Soldier Field. I don't know.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. But I will say this is I really don't care about the names in the back of the jerseys. I really just want to see consistent winning and seeing the Bears being in the position
Me too.
to for a Super Bowl. And what I am tired of the Bears doing is selling for these 8 and I guess we'll say 9. These 8 and 9 seasons, and these 9 and 8. Those seasons are worse than just being bad. And the fans may not like
mediocrity.
Mediocrity is the worst thing that happen for a team because you never draft enough, and what you end up doing is giving up capital to try to improve a mediocre team. Because when you 8 wins, you always feel that those 2 or 3 games that you could have won, and if we put these 2 or 3 people or trade these 2 or 3 people, man, we'd be at 12. And then you just chasing like that mouse chasing that, you know, that little spinning wheel or whatever he's chasing.
Oh yeah,
it's chasing your tail like a dog, right? Because maybe the next season you win 10 wins, then the next season you win 6 wins, right? Then you fire your coach, and then you start back over in this.
Starting all over again. Starting all over again.
And it don't hurt that Detroit's starting to come up now too. So Green Bay ain't the only one you got to worry about no more.
Yeah, you got to
because we chasing right now.
You got to get good fast.
Yeah, we chasing right now. We are definitely chasing right now because Detroit sustained in 2023 what they did in 2022, and it carried over. So hopefully, you know, we can sustain what we did in 2023 to carry over in 2024. So yeah, it's
we should have beat them twice.
Yeah, of course we should have. We can go.
We own this right now.
Right, and we can talk about that. We can talk about that. So we'll see. I'm just hoping, like I said, whatever Paul's decide to do, I'm with him because I feel like he's made some great decisions on some trades in free agency. He's made some good, you know, outside the Claypool and Velus Jones, your boy guy, Velus Jones.
Velvet?
What is this?
Terrible,
outside of those 2 things,
Vivid.
Post has done some great things. So let's just hope that he makes the right decision. As much as I know what I want, but I'm not in the room and I have no say. I just hope that he feels convicted to do what he feels is right, and we can go from there. We can go.
2 things. Law Pat Daddy said, "Guy, we beat Detroit twice technically." That's true, but they had a much better team. And another thing I want to say that's completely out of Bears football, man. We lost a guy, man. Andy Russell was one of the guys, one of the very first pieces of the steel curtain for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a linebacker with Jack Ham and Lambert. He would have played against the Bears in the 63 conference in the 63 championship, but he got drafted. He had to do 2 years in service, but he's Pittsburgh Hall of Fame. He was very integral as far as starting that steel curtain. He was one of the guys that won. He won 2 Super Bowls before he retired. I don't want to put it out there, but you know, I give respect where respect's due, because Andy Russell was one of the first guys to start it. Because when that Pittsburgh team was real bad, Chuck Noll came in 69. He wiped everybody out but Andy Russell. And I'm trying to think, it was a defensive back that they kept too. And then you get L.C. Greenwood, you get Mel Blount. They start putting pieces together within about 3 years. Next thing you know, we could have
crazy. It's crazy that you talk about Pittsburgh, because Bernard, I know you've been working with the guys at Pittsburgh on a podcast together, and I've watched that, and I you know,
it's nice, man.
It's real nice. Actually trying to help them, and the fact that they actually came to you and was like, "Can you help us with this thing?" Which lets me know that our thing is out there. And it's one of the things that, you know, talking about Pittsburgh. I was born in '69. Chuck Noll was hired in '69. The Steelers have had 3 coaches. I'll be 55 in a couple of months. They've had 3 coaches in my lifetime.
Chuck Noll.
They've had 3 coaches.
Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin.
That's an organization. That is an organization.
How many Super Bowls they've had with them 3 coaches? Is it 4, 5, something like that?
They have
5. They got 5. Because
they won 6. They got
more than that, though.
Oh, yeah.
They lost to Dallas.
Yeah, Noll's got 4.
Noll's got 4. Cowher got 1. And Tomlin got 1. So they got 6 Super Bowls. Man,
how many had they bench? That's the question.
That's crazy.
They bench a lot.
You know they bad when they got a guy who was lights out 1 year and they bench him. Slash Stewart.
Slash Stewart, yeah. It's crazy.
He got in trouble here because Boys Town was close, you know. But
okay, but Okay. On that note,
No, man,
Bernard, okay, let's go.
He the bros now. He the
Oh,
bros
okay.
now, bro.
He the bros,
okay.
yeah. He the bros. I was
Okay.
say he one of y'all bros, man. Come on,
Hey,
dog.
thank
Now,
everybody
but when
for
he was
tuning
here,
in
you know.
tonight to Bears Banners. So I know we're going to continue this conversation, and as we watch the combine as it developed, and we try to follow back maybe some footage and some interviews and talk about some of the players, and maybe we'll be back and we'll see if Jay prediction is true for next week. And also, I do want to clear up one thing that Doomsday. I think I want to say it's the first Monday of April that teams are allowed to start working with like the new coach, with the coaching staff. So anybody who's floating anything like, oh, they won't get Justin Fields and playbook, that means no, he actually had to wait till that date for them to. So that's no indication that they're getting rid of him because he hadn't got a playbook. They can't. They need to work on they need to work on the CBA. They did so many things in their own CBA that kind of hurt the players' development.
That's why people can't listen to radio. They like, well, Justin Fields ain't got the playbook. No, because he's not allowed to have a playbook.
And also, they had a TikTok video. Wasn't an X video or something with Justin Fields dancing to somebody in the back? You going home?
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. It says Bernard. I switched to YouTube. I'm subscribed. I doesn't know why my name doesn't appear. Well, it's because you doesn't log in. No, but I'm saying I'm just
on Facebook right now.
You got to give permission or something like that.
Permission to log in, right?
You got to get permission to Facebook.
59.
59 is the year.
He said 69. He might have heard you wrong. He might have thought you said 59. Man, Jay,
no, 69. That make me real old. I'm already.
You would have been in the 1969 draft, You'd have been in the 69
draft. I might have been in the NFL. I might have been in the NFL if I was more than 59. But yeah, I get
the 8-year-old phenom. Why Chicago?
Hey, quick. My next guest on the other podcast, Chicago High School Football Legends, is Walter Brown.
Oh,
wow!
Walter Brand. I'm sorry, Walter Brand.
Walter Brand.
Yeah.
Nice.
Walter Brand.
Nice.
That's what's up, man.
Nice.
We had a nice stable of players back in the day. One person that I think you should get on there is Clyde Travis, man.
Yes.
Dude is just, I was on his show for a brief second on Monday, and he just remembers
everybody.
He's a walking encyclopedia of players, eras, like everybody that you interview, he had them at some point as far as doing a story on them. So it's just crazy because when I got off the show, him and my boy was talking. And my boy was like, no, Clyde was like, man, Mike was a heck of a player, man. I think he came out 92 from Julian. My boy was like, no, I think it was 93, 94. And then Clyde was like, no, it had to be 92 because he played, the three main sports was Mike was football and baseball, and Thomas Red Newton was basketball. And they all, in 92. I was like, man, I can't keep on my kids' graduations, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like, how you know this stuff, man? You just know it. And he rambles it off just like that. Like, it's crazy. Like, wow. Walter Brand.
Hey, what's up, Kent?
What's up, Kent?
Yeah, hey, Kent, thanks for all your input on the
Yes,
Talk Show page.
Yes, indeed, Terrell.
Yeah, he
came in slinging that baseball bat, man. He make a lot of great points and
comments. Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. I love that, man, because you know what? Like I said, we do a lot of watching film and we study and stuff, but we get a lot of stuff from y'all too, because we can't see everything. So bring it, man. Just because we don't agree, don't mean that we don't listen and we don't take your account in as far as account in account that.
Yeah. Your ability.
I think we should limit. I think we should limit Lavelle to only 5 Justin Field posts a day.
I know, right?
Only 5, man. I'm like,
only 5 Justin Field posts a week.
We get it, Lavelle. We get it. We get it. We on the same page a lot of times. We get it, Lavelle, but I mean, it is what it is. We have no
It's
control.
overkill.
We have no control. It is what it is.
I
It
try not
is
to
what it
even
is.
stress over stuff I can't control, man. This stuff has already been written.
Right.
If you believe in a higher power, this stuff has already been written, and now it's just coming into fruition, right? So why am I going to stress myself out over what the higher power has already prescribed for our lives?
Because again, I'm just so ready for the draft to come. So I'm so ready for free agency to come, because I still say whatever happens with JF1 is going to happen. I say it's going to happen next week or the week after. It's going to happen prior to free agency. It has to.
This one we getting all Washington picks next week.
Right. So
This
yeah.
gonna happen. I don't think he's out of here this year. I think he might get one more year.
I hope you're right.
Because you could bring in Caleb Williams and still not get no weapons, and you still gonna have the same thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do. It's gonna be the same thing, man. You're gonna be sitting there watching the same horror movie and knowing exactly what's about to happen.
The only good part about it is, that is true, but also shoring up the defense in that respect as well, too. At least hopefully.
We're not following defense. I mean, you think about this. I'm the quarterback, and I got to throw to Velus Jones, Tyler Scott, Darnell Mooney. You know what I'm saying? Equanimous St. Brown. Man, I quit. Skip, you ain't got to trade me. I quit. I don't want to play no more. You can't give me nobody in here that ain't no fifth receiver option. I don't want to play no more.
Right.
I'm done.
Right.
We got more guys who are like, they go to another team. You be like, man, they still in the league. They don't get no time.
They ain't gonna even make a team. Velus Jones will not play for any 31 other teams in this league. Velus Jones won't play.
I told y'all why he's still playing, right? He got them
yeah,
bitches on Virginia.
Yeah. And the bottom line, like I said, Poles, that was one of his first picks. He ain't gonna realize, or he ain't gonna admit that he made that mistake. So, but I don't expect him to be on the roster next year. But that's a whole.
I think he was gonna make it last year. Like, how this dude keep
That's a whole different story.
Hey, thank everybody for tuning in tonight to Bears Banner Talk Show. So see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.